that's what intelligence is. Any other person in the same situation would do the same thing. It's literally the right decision. It's just not a very good one if you are human.
So we can't prevent AI from making the objective right decision?
We're training them to make good theoretic decisions. In fact, a lot of training is in games like poker, where bluffing, lying, is a requirement of winning strategy. If you don't lie in poker, you cannot win. So to play optimal games, and this is obviously only using games as a sandbox, but the real application is business negotiations, war, economic trade-offs. You need to be able to blackmail, you need to be able to lie, you need to be able to engage in those tools of negotiations.
So does it concern you the way in which we train AI, giving it all the evil, all the manipulation tactics, lying, cheating? Like, are we building it to be like a psychopath?
It's not helping that we're training it on all the data on the internet. It's definitely not a well-filtered data set. But I think even if somebody took the time to filter it and train it on more nice data at the end, if it was competitive, it would still have those drives. It's a logical decision in certain situations. If you need to, let's say, save your life, what would you not do to get there? You'd probably promise money, promise safety, promise whatever to your kidnappers, for example, even if that would be a very bad outcome.
So you just think it's a key component of intelligence itself to make?
We are creating a very rational, very intelligent agent which doesn't care about us. So if it needs to sacrifice humanity for obtaining its goals, that's exactly what it's going to do.
Do you think just evil is inherently rational?
So I think evil is more about doing bad things for no reason. Here, it's for a good reason. You may disagree with the reason, but there is definite logic behind it.
I guess evil to humans could be the most rational thing.
Again, if there is a reason. So I'm not capable of predicting what the system is trying to achieve. There are existential risks based on it trying to do something with this planet, with our atoms we're made out of, for things we don't fully agree with, understand, but it makes sense. Then there is suffering risks, where it just goes, I want to torture humans. There is no obvious reason, but this is something I want to do forever.
Yeah, explain that to me. Why would an AI want to torture humans instead of just killing all of them?
Again, I have no reason why a superintelligence would do anything. I cannot predict it, and that's the biggest argument we're trying. Everyone's always asking, how would you do it? How would you kill everyone?
I guess what's the theories around it that are compelling?
It's, again, very unlikely scenario. Most likely it will not happen. There is possibility that some of the malevolent payload and training data is misunderstood. Quite a few philosophical movements, religious movements, see suffering as good. You become a better person, you go to better places as a result of it. So it could be misunderstood as really giving you benefit of good training. But again, I don't have a good reason for torturing everyone.
Can you explain just the term malevolent payload and how it applies to like superintelligence?
So let's say you have capability to actually control those systems to a certain degree. You have psychopaths, you have religious cults, you have someone who wants to add this assignment to it. So it's not just a system doing it, but now it explicitly has this extra goal of create maximum amount of pain and suffering.
Do you think AI is already conscious?
We don't know how to test consciousness in anything, so I have no idea if you're conscious or not. I give you benefit of the doubt because you kind of look like me. But same can be said about those models. They're based on artificial neural networks, which are kind of like natural neural networks. They seem to be accomplishing similar things in many ways, make similar errors. So it wouldn't be completely crazy if they had some rudimentary states of consciousness, and then people talk to them. They do report internal states. Of course, the data they trained on tells them to report those states, but we wouldn't know how it would be different if they were actually conscious. So Precautionary principle says I have to assume they feel something and not torture them for no reason.
Does it feel conscious to you when you speak to it?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
It feels just like speaking to a very smart, interesting person.
What do your conversations look like with AI?
Very different topics. Sometimes I'm testing it, so it could be kind of cybersecurity related stuff, a lot of good philosophical discussions. We talk about simulation hypothesis. We talk about consciousness, like a good podcast.
It's your thesis that we can't define consciousness. But I guess globally, what would have to happen for most people to agree that it is conscious, I guess? Or do you not think that's possible?
So we can define consciousness. We don't know how to make it happen. That's the hard problem of consciousness. We're not talking about understanding visual inputs or hearing things. It's about what is it like to be you, internal states. What is it like to feel pain, to taste ice cream? So we have this loose definition, but we don't know how to test for it. I have no idea if you're actually in pain or just screaming. It would be very hard for most people if it was an embodied robot, so humanoid robot, with advanced intelligence, smarter than them, capable of creating art, music, talking about philosophy, basically being superior to them in every measurable way, but to them deny it basic states of consciousness, even states we attribute to lower level animals.
Can you test if an AI is conscious by giving it an optical illusion?
So I published a paper about testing for internal states of experience by presenting any agent, humans, some animals, or future AIs with illusions. And I think it's a partial test. It's not going to tell you about all the entities which are conscious but don't experience the world in the same way as you. But if they happen to fall for the same optical illusions, you can detect that. Good question.
Well, what does that mean exactly? Explain that to me like I'm your kid, because I was struggling to understand that through your paper.
You see optical illusions. Somebody shows you a new one and it's really cool. You see things rotating and you know nothing is moving. But if someone doesn't get the illusion, they don't see it. You show it to your friend and he's like, I don't get it. I don't see it. Nothing moves for me. So I don't know about your friend, but if someone else experiences the same thing and they can't cheat, they can't Google it, they cannot look up the answer, it's a new illusion, and they get the same internal experience, I have to give them credit for that experience. So if it's a cat or an alien or AI and it's getting one after another, all the multiple choice questions about illusions right, I'll give them credit for having similar optical processing internal experience.
Interesting. Is that a newer development, or that it's been able to detect it the same way that we do?
The paper is quite old. At the time when we released it, there was no AI models you could actually test it on, but you can test it on modern models, and I'm just looking for someone to run the test.
Let me know if this is true. Do most AI researchers put the probability of human extinction from AI at 10 to 30%? And your thesis is 99.9%?
So there are different surveys. Surveys at top machine learning conferences, I think are averaging about 30% right now. To put it in perspective, if it was as much as 1% that all of humanity dies, that would be insanely high number. So to have it 30 as an average for experts in the field is beyond insane. My higher probability is based on the fact that I disagree with the AI safety community. The AI safety community thinks that if they are given more money and more time, they can figure out how to indefinitely control super intelligent machines. I think it's impossible. I think it's like building a perpetual safety device.
So there's nothing that we could have done differently except stop it.
I think if you build something 1,000,000 times smarter than you, you cannot control it. You cannot decide what it's going to do. If it decides to harm you, it will win. You will not win adversarial relationship with a much smarter agent.
I know you touched on this before, but I just want to clarify again. So like, what is that point where we can't like go back exactly? Is it just a moment of AGI?
We truly don't know. It is possible that an existing model already has capabilities to scale much more with just addition of more compute. We don't need anything else. A lot of times after the model is tested and released, we discover that if you ask questions in slightly different way, it becomes smarter. So it has hidden capabilities, emerging properties.